If you've ever tried selling a car, you know how painful the process can be. You could spend weeks waiting for the right buyer, haggling over the right price, or dealing with dealerships that always seem to offer far less than you expected. But in South Africa, there's one company that's changed the game entirely. WeBuyCars isn't just a dealership. It's a car buying machine. Every single month, they purchase and sell over 13,500 cars. That's more than 160,000 cars a year, moving through their massive warehouses at an almost industrial scale. Their business model is so effective that in just 20 years, they've gone from a small-time operation to listing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange with a valuation of 7.82 billion rand. But here's the real question. How do two brothers with no dealership experience build a car-buying empire? And why do some critics believe WeBuyCars is creating a monopoly? To find out, we need to go back to the very beginning, before the billions in revenue, before the giant warehouses, back to a small town where two young brothers were just learning how to fix cars. WeBuyCars didn't start in a boardroom. It started under an old, beaten-up car. Faan and Dirk van der Walt grew up in Bronkhorstspruit, a small farming town outside Pretoria. Their family car was constantly breaking down, so their father taught them how to fix it. That skill turned into a passion. By the time they were teenagers, Faan was already buying and flipping motorcycles for a profit. His first deal? A Yamaha XT500, bought for 400 Rand and sold for 1,400 Rand. That one deal lit a spark. While Dirk was studying marketing, Faan pursued a teaching career and moved to the UK with his wife Tanya to save money. While abroad, he bought his first car, a blue Volkswagen 412, which he later sold for an upgrade. At the time, they had no idea that Dirk's marketing expertise and Faan's financial discipline would be the perfect combination for what was to come. In 2001, they officially launched WeBuyCars. But it wasn't anything like the giant corporation we see today. It was just two brothers, a single bakkie, and an obsession with outworking everyone. They went door to door, offering cash for used cars and flipping them for a profit. But then, they had an idea that would change everything. The used car industry has always been about negotiation. But Faan and Dirk realized something most dealers ignored. People don't want to negotiate. They just want to sell their car quickly. So they made the process fast and hassle-free. Instead of waiting for customers to come to them, they went directly to the sellers, offering instant cash. No haggling, no waiting, just a quick deal. Once they had a steady flow of cars, they flipped them at a higher price through private sales, auctions, and later their own warehouses. The business exploded. But the moment that turned WeBuyCars into a household name, a single billboard on the N1 highway. It featured Faan and Dirk holding stacks of cash with one simple message: WeBuyCars. That ad changed everything. Calls flooded in, people lined up to sell their cars. It was too much for two brothers to handle alone. So they had no choice but to scale. By 2010, WeBuyCars built its first warehouse in Pretoria, storing 100 cars at a time. But within 6 months, they had already outgrown it. They bought more land, expanded to 700 cars, and then kept expanding, opening warehouses in Cape Town, Durban, and Johannesburg. The goal was simple: make selling cars as easy as possible. To do that, they needed more than just warehouses. They needed data. By 2018, WeBuyCars was no longer just a dealership. It was a tech company, processing 80 gigabytes of data every single day to predict pricing trends and optimize buying decisions. By 2023, WeBuyCars had 15 car supermarkets across the country, 74 buying pods, over 340 buyers nationwide, and a workforce of 2,800 employees. And by this time, they bought and sold more than 13,500 cars per month. And the bigger they got, the more investors wanted in. By 2020, WeBuyCars had grown so much that Transaction Capital, a major South African investment firm, bought a 49.9% stake for 1.8 billion rand. This deal injected billions into the company, allowing it to scale at an unprecedented rate. But with great success came controversy. Many car sellers started to complain. Some felt undervalued by WeBuyCars' instant offers, claiming they were getting far below market price. Several customers had also shared their dissatisfaction with WeBuyCars, particularly concerning undisclosed vehicle defects and the quality of cars sold.
I was actually looking to upgrade from my previous car. And
what was that, if I may ask?
That was the Mustang, a Mustang V8. And WeBuyCars on the website advertised this 2019 Audi RS3, 17,000 Ks on the clock.
What year model at the time?
2019.
2019, oh.
Yes.
So super low kilos for the
yes.
year.
On the floor I can see they've polished this thing. It looks mint. I climb in the car, the leather is... It was a beautiful car, looking at it. Reports of the car, clean. If I'm not mistaken, it was actually a gold sticker car.
Now when you talk about the report, you're referring to the DECRA report.
The DECRA report. Yeah. About a day after I bought the Audi RS3, I know it's a high performance car, so immediately first thing I want to do is I want to go get it checked. And the friend of mine who was checking out this car saw the VIN number, gave it a scan, and he knew exactly whose car this was and where it came from. The story came out that the previous owner of this car stripped everything out. He rebuilt the engine, and this is where, when we actually looked in the engine, there was a brand of parts that does not belong in an Audi. And we did some research, and apparently it's parts that go on a Datsun car. So the whole engine had been rebuilt with non-genuine parts. And then about 2 days after that is when I took it to Audi for the 90-point check. And then from there we discovered that the all-wheel drive system was broken, and this thing was only going on the front wheels. The Quattro was broken. So I said to Audi, what's the quote to fix everything? And they said, there's nothing we can do with this engine, you're going to have to get a new one from Germany. All-wheel drive system, hell of a lot of money. To put it together, the whole quote was more than what I paid for the car.
Now, if I may ask you, at that time, how quickly did you notify WeBuyCars of the challenge? Because the car looks apart. You said it was nice and polished.
Obviously, I needed a few. The 90-point check is about 2-3 days. So less than a week. And I went to them and built together a bit of a portfolio of evidence, all the 90-point check, the quotes, and I took this to WeBuyCars. And I said, listen here, none of this was in the DECRA report. No. Long story short, I said, sorry, there's nothing we can do. You voetstoots.
What happened thereafter?
After that is when I'm now sitting at a loss of nearly R1 million.
Another individual felt misled by the sales process, suggesting that the lack of clear information amounted to a scam. These experiences underscore the importance of thorough due diligence when engaging in vehicle transactions. On the other hand, competitors accused WeBuyCars of driving independent dealerships out of business, creating a near monopoly in the industry. There were also internal struggles. By March 2023, WeBuyCars reported a 1.9 billion rand loss in just 6 months, mainly due to rising interest rates and loan defaults. But despite these challenges, they kept expanding. Because for WeBuyCars, the future wasn't just about buying and selling cars. It was about dominating every aspect of the car industry. WeBuyCars isn't slowing down. They've expanded into insurance, financing, vehicle tracking, and online auctions. They plan to introduce third-party sales, meaning they won't just sell their own cars, but also cars from banks, fleet owners, and other dealers. Their ultimate goal? To have a buying pod in every South African town and at least one location within 10 kilometers of every major city resident. And they might not stop at South Africa. WeBuyCars is already operating in Morocco and could expand even further internationally. But will they remain unstoppable? Or will competitors, regulations, or market shifts slow them down? The South African car market is changing, and by 2028, 40% of cars sold in South Africa could be Chinese brands, shifting consumer preferences. WeBuyCars needs to adapt, but if history has shown us anything, it's that they know how to navigate disruption. With smart acquisitions, tech-driven solutions, and a relentless expansion plan, WeBuyCars is poised to keep growing. WeBuyCars revolutionized how South Africans sell their cars. Their secret? Speed, convenience, and scale. While traditional dealerships focus on getting the highest price, WeBuyCars focus on buying as many cars as possible, as fast as possible. It's a business model that made them rich, but it's also a business model that some fear could give them too much power. So what do you think? Is WeBuyCars a brilliant success story or a dangerous monopoly in the making? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe for more business stories just like this one.